faster than a speeding typewriter, more powerful than a printing press, able to speak over tall buildings in a single sound. Look, up on the dial!
It's a conservative!
It's a liberal! It's Supermouth! Yes, it's Supermouth, strange visitor from the past with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal talk show hosts. Supermouth, who can change the course of local politics, bend ears with his bare mouth, and who, disguised as Mike Wiley, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan radio show, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way.
Good morning, and welcome to another adventure into podcast radio. I'm your host, the evil Mike Wiley, former evil radio talk show host, now evil podcast host. Good morning! What a wonderful day it is today. The sun's out. I had my annual physical yesterday. My doctor said I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. But I'm ready to lose my mind if I haven't lost it already. I know there's questions whether I've lost my mind 30 years ago when I became a radical right-wing extremist terrorist. Yeah, I was a terrorist. I terrorized the Democrats up in Tallahassee when they decided they were going to come up with some gun control bill and take away the rights of our guns. No, wasn't going to happen. And I led the rally in Tallahassee and defeated gun control in the state of Florida. And they've never, ever tried again. No, they're not going down that road because I'm still breathing. The question is, who's going to carry on after I stop breathing? Hopefully it's not for another 10 years, but while I'm breathing and while I'm walking and talking, I'm in the battle. And as long as the enemies of our country and our Constitution are out there, you can't stop. You can't stop. And one thing that really bothers me is that we don't really have media. You know, every day CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, CBS, ABC, Washington Post, New York Times, they're always spewing bullshit. So yesterday, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia came to the United States to meet with Trump because he wants peace in the Middle East, he wants a Palestinian state, and he wants the F-35 jets that the Israelis took from not working to really working good. They are the beasts of the air. Now, I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if they're going to sell F-35s with the Israeli technology in them or just the American F-35s. But I understand the American F-35s have adopted the Israeli techniques because evidently they can overcome the computer systems that are in the Russian missile defense systems that when they feel someone's coming, it starts sending out incorrect signals. But the Israelis were able to figure out how to get past it, and that's why they knocked out every single one of those missile batteries, and Iran was toast. And then, of course, to just tighten things up a bit, the U.S. military, the Israeli military, the Air Forces, they decided to go on a long flight. And they decided to knock out Iran's nuclear capabilities. Nobody knew they were there. Nobody saw them coming, but they heard them. So, Saudi Arabia has gone from $600 billion investing in our country to $1 trillion. I actually believe that more than likely a large part of that extra money is for the F-35s because Saudi Arabia needs to protect itself. Saudi Arabia wants to be one of the number one countries in the Middle East. And I believe that's the way to go. Matter of fact, I've sent out my map of my three-state solution, which would be Israel, just the way it was in the 1924 League of Nations mandate that the United Nations approved. The United Nations approved it, but the other day they says, No, you can't have Gaza. You can't have this. You can't have that. Go away. No, that ain't gonna work because we haven't gone to court yet. Of course, I wouldn't be the one going to court, but it's gonna happen that way. But Palestine should actually be a separate country north of Jordan, east of the Jordan River. And really, the lunatics in this country, the Palestinian lunatics, should have been saying from the river to Iraq, not from the river to the sea, because they were planning on putting Palestine where Israel is, and that's not right. That's not legal, and it ain't going to happen. Let's face it, okay? Is the Palestinian Air Force going to attack Israel? No. The Palestinians have a terrorist organization known as Hamas, and they do the attacking. Now, I'm in a bit of a pickle, and the reason why I'm in a bit of a pickle is because I'm being attacked. Now, if you attack my country, I'm going to come after you. If you attack my children, I'm going to come after you. And if you attack my children, I'm going to come after you. And I'm going to have an Austrian with me named Mr. Glock and his brother, right-handed Glock. I don't put up with that shit. No American should put up with that shit. And you can tell who we are on Facebook. And I'm really happy and proud to say that a lot of these patriots on Facebook are black. Okay? They have left the Democratic Party. They understand who the Democratic Party is. They really know the history of these assholes. And that's what they are. They're assholes. So today, I want to talk about homegrown terrorists. I want to talk about terrorism, domestic terrorism, that affects us every day. And evidently, we don't really do a good job against domestic terrorism. I'll give you, for instance, I won't mention their name, but there's an email company in Virginia that feels that it's okay to terrorize me every day by sending me 7 to 8 emails, at least 5 to 6 a day. They started a couple of years ago, 2023. I had an issue with my aortic dissection and what it was going to happen. And so that year I was concentrating on that. We then went out and had a new CAT scan taken and it showed no growth. Thank you, Lord. So that was no longer an issue. And then later on in the year in 2023, I got into a car accident. A Sleeping Beauty decided to hit me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon while she was asleep driving a car into the back of my car, which I thankfully now have uncomfortable neck issues and back issues that aren't going to go away. The scam that I discovered in the state of Florida is that the insurance companies and lawyers and the medical facilities have their game to play. And you see, if you want to get money from, say, Geico, my insurance company, well, I have to spend it. And the only way to spend it is on a medical company. And I came across a company and I realized that what they wanted to do was to inject me with needles. It kill the pain. Yeah, it's going to kill the pain. The only problem is they weren't hitting at the problem. The problem was that my back was killing me. My lower back was killing me. And it had to do with an aggravated back injury that occurred in 1969 when I was a semi-pro goaltender and had gone up for a save, yanked my lower back. I don't know what it is, sacroiliac, whatever you want to call it. And that's been an issue, but I live with it. Okay. Now it's 2025, and that lawsuit's been won. I got my money from Geico. And now I get these emails every day. And the problem with these emails is, well, actually, it's not the problem. It's the problem for them. Because unfortunately for them, even though I'm not an attorney, my 1-year law school taught me how to do everything right. And because I'm forensic oriented, I know how to put the facts together and I know how to find the facts. because I was trained that way for 45 years in accounting and finance to find shit. So they're in trouble. They're in trouble. I'm giving them till December 1st. I'm a nice guy. I always like to give them a chance so they understand what's going on, because what's going to happen is after they see the filed lawsuit and they see what I'm bringing up, they're going to go, oh boy, we got a problem here. We need to shut Wiley up. We need to shut Wiley up. Yeah, Hillary needed to shut Wiley up. I'm a pain in the ass, but I'm your pain in the ass. That's the good part. The bad part is I'm getting kind of old to do this. Yeah, I know I don't look my age, but it's tiring. It takes out a lot of energy. But someone's got to do it, and I don't see anybody coming forward. Yeah, we got all these podcasters. I'm going to say that 85% of them are for shit. Yeah, they're just, I was a broadcaster. I was in radio. I was trained to broadcast, and I was in radio for years. That's why she had me removed from radio, because she felt I was dangerous. I have a mental disorder. It's called telling the truth all the time and standing up to treason and criminals. So we're doing it again. So I'm going to give you a list of homegrown terrorists, and you may be having battles with them in your neighborhood, or you've just decided you're going to do something about it. So first of all, the email terrorists are violating a Florida law. I'm sure they know this because their secretary of the company is a big attorney with another attorney in D.C. Oh, well, it's Texas, but it's D.C. The office is in D.C., but the company's in Texas. Well, I found them. I know how to get to them. And I sent an email to one of them and said, look, here's the deal. I always give everybody an offer. I always do. That's the deal. I give them an offer. They refuse it. Then, once they see the filed paperwork and they see my complaint and how it's established and what I'm saying, then they realize, uh-oh, he's got us. And then they'll settle. I've never actually gone to trial. In 20 years of pro law, I never went to trial. You went to court, you filed in court, you stood in court, you explained your side, but you never got to the trial point because they give up at around the depositions and the interrogatories and that stuff. Because once they sit back and realize I'm no dumbbell and what I've presented doesn't look good for them, they write a check. So the first group is the email terrorists. For some reason, they think it's okay to send me, oh, listen, my phone's ringing in the other room. I bet you it's the cell phone terrorists and their robocalls. I filed a report today with the FBI online about them, and I'm going to continue to go on looking into them. But I'm going to go after them myself. Okay? And the way I do that is I answer the phone and I let them take me through the process. And I think they've already got some coding that says don't go any further past what they're going to, because all of a sudden they go, oh, never mind. But their phone calls from India, you can always tell when someone from India is calling because they don't know how to pronounce the word Wiley. It's Mr. Willie. Mr. Willie. Drives me nuts. But that's exactly when you know. A lot of these calls come from India and other parts of the United States. And then there's an automated now AI. So we are going to be terrorized by AI more than you can imagine. Then there's a drive-by terrorist. I have a drive-by terrorist in my neighborhood. And he thinks that I like to listen to his music. The rap shit, loud banging bass crap. Some days he comes by and the bass is so loud, it shakes my living room. But what he doesn't understand is That's assault. Actually, no, it's battery. See, assault is threatening. Battery is touching. Touching. I could go like this to you, and you can file a claim of battery saying, "Oh, he hurt me. He touched me." Assault is threat. Battery is touching. And if I'm in my recliner watching TV, and my house, my condo shakes from the sound of his music, and I'm feeling it, I'm being touched. My ears are being touched. Yeah, I know you can say, "Yeah, no, Mike, you're crazy." Yeah, we'll see. Because they live right across the street from me. The only problem is, by the time I can get out of the chair and get to the door, they've already passed. But they've whacked me up. Sometimes, some days it's like 4 or 5 times a day. They drive up and back and up and back. But you know what? I'm retired now, and I have the time to go after these people, and I know how to go after them. So I'm doing it. I enjoy this podcast that I do with you. Hillary Clinton can't take me off the air like she did before. I'd still like to get $2 million out of her for the lost income for when she had me removed in 1995 because I threatened her live on the air. Mike, what'd you do? Threaten to kill her? No, I threatened to kill her presidential elections by going and running in the state of Massachusetts for the Senate against her and debating her. And after I debate her, I would tear her to shreds like she saw me tear her brother to shreds in '94. Okay, so there's an email terrorist I'm dealing with. There's a cell phone terrorist. I don't know who they are, but I'm going to find out. You may be having the same issues. Now, if you're getting the robocalls, you can call into the FBI and go through the process on your phone, and they tell you what to do. I'm actually going to do something really strange. You see, there's 435 Congress people in Washington, D.C. 435. I'm allowed to talk to just one of them. That's it. I can only talk to the rep in my district. And he doesn't really do too much until it's time for re-election. And then all of a sudden you hear from him and he finds some kind of whatever to defend it. He finds a campaign issue. I would run against him, but the laws in the state of Florida prevent me from running. I think these laws were created starting about 4 years after they went through hell with me because they realized that somebody who was pro-American was running for office and not a stooge like the mothers we got up there. And it's getting tiring to watch what's happening to our country. And I'm waiting for Doge to come back in because there's a lot of work to do there. Democrats. The Democrats are a terrorist organization. Matter of fact, excuse me, some of their terrorist groups are on this domestic terrorists. Domestic terrorist groups in the United States. So let's see. The Ku Klux Klan. What organization were they a part of? Democrat? Yes. Mikey, you got that right. They're anti-Semitic and they're anti-constitutional. You get some of these others here. Oh, Oath Keepers. Oath Keepers is an anti-government or anti-authority extremist group. Really? Oath Keepers. That's interesting. Isn't that a group of people who were veterans or police officers that have served us and they support the Constitution of the United States, them and Proud Boys? Why are they on this list? Well, you see, Mike, the Democrats are terrorists, so people who fight terrorism are terrorists to them. Oath Keepers and Proud Boys. I don't know if you know this, but the FBI is a well-known terrorist organization. Mike, how can you say that? Because I have proof. I have lots of proof. I've done shows on this. What does every terrorist attack in the United States have in common? Let's see. The Waco attack 2 days after the attack on um, the World Trade Center, the truck bombing. We'll go with that first. Okay, World Trade Center truck bombing. The FBI had someone inside, yet they still got to blow it up. The FBI and the ATF were the ones behind the attack on Christians in Waco. They burned all those people to death. Yeah, FBI. Then you had the Oklahoma City bombing. Okay, and the FBI and the ATF had people inside the group. They knew everything that was going on. They knew exactly what they were going to do. But somebody in Washington, D.C. So wait a minute. If they blow up the federal building, that's a good campaign opportunity for Bill because Bill is sucking wind. It's 1995. He's got ratings like Biden, 38%. We need to get his. We need to kill some people and then have Bill do this eulogy on national TV, and everybody will fall in love with him. And that's exactly what happened. So they killed 186 people. The Clintons. The Clintons are Democrats. They allowed that to happen. Okay. Oh, Mike, what did you just say? They're going to come after you for defamation.
There's one problem. If it's the truth, they can't.
The truth is powerful. Learn to use the truth. You know why? Because the truth destroys evil. Like the Democratic Party, it's evil. It's been evil for at least 165 years. And then before that, when they decided slavery was good, when it wasn't. Domestic terrorists, Raskin, Jeffries, Schiff, Sanders, Schumer, Warren, Markey. Name a senator in New England. Name a senator in any blue state. The terrorists. Mike, do you have proof that they're terrorists? Yeah, didn't they just hold the nation hostage? Didn't the Democrats just shut the government down for over 30 days, causing pain and destruction to the American people? Democrats! There are homegrown terrorists. And they're in every state. And the next show I do is to start getting rid of them. They got to go, okay? They can voluntarily leave, get up from your chair in Washington, D.C., and go back home. Get out. I know that the election in 2026 is coming, and the Democrats are in the middle of trying to steal as much money as they can so they will have campaign money because remember, in order to get people to believe a lie, you have to repeat it 755,000 times, and that costs money. If you tell them the truth, you don't have to say it once. I don't know how many times, and I've done shows on all these people. And I'm going through I've got 3 years of videos. And I'm going to go through that. I'm going to put them in order. I know I keep saying this, but it's a big job. But I'm getting ready to do it. And my goal is that from next week, when Thanksgiving comes about, I'm going to go ahead through to the first of the new year to put all this together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a pro-Democratic Party campaign schedule of events and videos so that your favorite Democrats can go, oh no. They need to be defeated. Matter of fact, they need to leave. I think we're done. I don't know. How much more bullshit can you put up with? Really? How many times are you going to sit there and watch that piece of shit, Adam Schiff? Now he's a senator. Oh, why is he senator? Because California is one of those cheating blue states. You know, that's half red, half blue. But the government's not spread out that way. It's like 95% Democrat, 5% Republican because of gerrymandering and shit. We're gonna get into that too. I'm gonna hammer down on that stuff. The secession. 1863, West Virginia seceded from Virginia because they didn't want to leave the Union, and they didn't want to be in the pro-slavery campaign of the regular state of Virginia. So they filed the paperwork by county, and they brought it up to Washington, D.C., which happened to have at the time a Republican president named Lincoln, and they had a Republican House and a Republican Senate. And so it all got approved. And West Virginia is a state on its own. And I believe it's time that we go ahead and increase the amount of GOP senators by 18 by adding 9 new states. And of course, since they're all of the 345 red counties currently under control and enslavement to the 110 blue counties, see, there's 110 blue counties, and they have more power than 345 counties. Why is that? Because some genius said, you know what? We shouldn't count counties. No, let's come up with a way to figure out that we will calculate districts, congressional districts. And then the Democrats can gerrymander them and turn them all around. And then when the law says you can go through and review the breakdown of the districts, the people in Texas says, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, and we pick up 5 Republican states, and then Democrat judges go, no, you can't do that. You have to use the older, out-of-date one because that's beneficial to Democrats. 400 lawsuits have been filed by Donald Trump this year, while the Democrats file lawsuits against our government. Our government is creating jobs, bringing in $21 trillion in investment in this country. You have no idea where this country's going until you understand what Donald Trump is doing. Yeah, you may not agree with him, that's okay. But he's a businessman, he knows what he's doing. And that's why he's dangerous. Because the Democrats can't survive when they have to go up against someone with a brain. Okay? I'm sorry, but, Democrats can't even run against monkeys because monkeys are smarter than Democrats. You don't believe me? Try Raskin from Maryland, the rep from Maryland, or Hakeem, the carpet guy, Jeffries. He's unbelievable. He terrorizes. Go to X. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing how these people how can people lie as much as they do? Think of the destruction of the genes in their character for them to be able to lie as much as they do. Come on, can't you just tell the truth? What's wrong with telling the truth? Come on, can't we follow, the laws of Moses? We are a Judeo-Christian nation. We have laws that God gave us, and we try to follow those laws. And then the far-left Looney Tune, commie, Democrat, socialist scumbags always try to fight the law by removing the 10 Commandments, removing this, removing that. Look, we watched this in 1917 occur in the Soviet Union. It was Russia then, but then it became the Soviet Union because a group of mental midgets took over the country, okay, added in some people with brains, and they happen to be Jewish. That's why there were a lot of Jews in the Communist Party, because the people before the communists were anti-Semitic. So they helped draw them in because they needed people who could think for these idiots that believe communism works. Where has communism worked? Cuba?
No, I don't think so.
China? I don't think so. They hold on to it for dear life because they can't imagine running a country that large with billions of people the way they want it run. So they must use the iron fist. We're fighting evil every day. But I hate to see that we have to fight evil in this country against people who were born in this country. That's why the people that were born in this country that hate this country bring in people who weren't born in this country because they have no problem shoving it up our ass. And you know who they are. I don't have to mention their names. You know, like the ones from Washington or Michigan or Minnesota or the Bronx or Massachusetts. How much longer are you going to put up with this shit? I'm serious. I'm serious. You don't understand. I entertain when I do shows because that's a part of me. Okay, because people listen to you when you entertain. Okay, I didn't have high ratings in radio for nothing because people enjoyed listening to me. I gave them the truth, I gave them the facts, and I entertained them. And I'm funny. Okay, it's just my natural tendency to be that way. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. My hometown is the birthplace of the American Navy. I live and breathe the Revolutionary War, and that doesn't come out of you. And it's a shame to see Chinese communists running that state right now. Wu Tu Chu and Mary Healy the last. I'm telling you, the Democrats have come up with this program where we're going to put women in power. Yeah, we're going to put women in power because women are more devious than men. And I actually have a show that I was going to do. I have the documentation where the Democrats had figured out that all these LGBTQ what the fuck organizations should be run by women, not by gay men. Why? Because they found that lesbians are more hateful and will do more damage to people. We're not saying all lesbians. This is what the Democrats found. But you don't have to wait for me to show you. Type it into your Wikipedia. Just type it right in. Okay? Lesbians over gay men to run Democrat organizations. It's there for you. Okay? I didn't do a show on it, but I came across it. You know, when you're doing investigations, you're looking for information, you come across stuff. And then you have to decide if it's worth doing a show on it. To me, it's not worth doing a show on it. It's just worth mentioning from time to time. Why? Well, let's see. Anybody ever hear a guy named Charlie Kirk? We're being told that he was assassinated by some gay whatever guy that was dating this guy that wanted to be a woman. Who knows about that? Okay. Now we're finding out that they scrubbed the information. When I say they, I'm talking about the Democrats and the criminals in our government that are infiltrated into the FBI. The FBI needs a good cleaning, a real good cleaning. And turns out this kid Crooks, who they say supposedly shot Trump. Thank God it was not God protected him on that. But what I don't hear is why aren't they going after the female that was in charge of the Secret Service then, Miss Cheadle? Okay, Miss Cheadle, we got a couple of questions for you. We're going to put you on the stand and we're going to have Mike Wiley come in and ask you a few questions. Okay? All right. Number one, when Donald Trump's campaign gave you the information that he was going to have a big outdoor rally of 20 to 25,000 people on July 13th, 2024, why did you not assign the 12 available Secret Service people who had nothing to do at the time to that rally? Why? You had nothing else to send them to. Nothing else to send them to. And it was outdoors. It was big. And the buildings and everything. There should have been more coverage. But why didn't you do that? But then, see, here's the problem. You have to understand. Well, if I don't send people, they're going to go, I was behind the assassination. I need an excuse. Yeah. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, this is Cheadle. Yeah. You know, when you were VP, I was in charge of your protection. You and Mrs. Biden. Yeah. Okay. Listen, here's the deal. We're gonna shoot Trump as you wanted. Okay, there's only one problem. I got 12 people available to protect them. I need to send them someplace. Do me a favor. What can you come up with? Okay, let me know. Bye. All right, so we're gonna send Jill Biden to Pittsburgh to attend an Italian American um, gathering of about 400 people. Okay, now I grew up with Italians. I'm Jewish. Okay, Jews and Italians, we live in the same neighborhood. We're basically the same people. Matter of fact, there's this one scene in The Sopranos where the guy starts talking about this one area. He goes, "Yeah, it's in Elvis Presley land." The guy says, "Elvis Presley land? What's Elvis Presley land?" The other guy goes, "No Jews or Italians. No Jews or Italians." We came over on the boat together in 1921. And I guess they put us in the same neighborhoods and we gelled, and that's how Italian Jewish organized crime came about. Hey, what can I say? I'm a familia. Okay, it's the way I am. And coincidentally, most of my life has been in the hands of Italians. My first boss was Italian. My last boss was Italian. And my first boss at Xerox, the person that hired me to bring him into Xerox, was Italian. So I can tell you that if you've got 400 Italian Americans at a casino in a family gathering, no one's going in to do anything. No one in their right mind is going to think about trying to commit a terrorist act against 400 Italian Americans. Why? Because you won't come out alive. And everybody who's everybody knows that. But we're going to use it as an excuse. Okay, good. I can send 12 people that have experience to an entity in a place that maybe only needs 3 or 4 people, and you already have a detail of Secret Service on Jill Biden anyways. Jill's there. She's going to have her 3, 4 people, and I'm going to possibly add another 3, 4 people. But wait, that will leave me 8 people qualified to send to protect Trump. We don't want to do that. We're going to kill Trump. We got the orders right here. Here it is. Kill Trump. So we'll send all 12 there. And I'll use that as an excuse. Yeah. Okay. And the interesting part is Kamala, who at the time wasn't the next running president candidate, not yet, but evidently that was in the works. She happened to be in Philadelphia at the time, and she was doing a presentation in front of Asian American group, Asian Communist Chinese group that supported Kamala and have ties to the Chinese. I'm sure the Communist Chinese send money to them to then send it to the Democrats, just like the Communist Chinese send money every year to the ABC, NBC, CBS, the major media. They buy advertising. The question is, what products are they advertising to the American people? Can you guess? When was the last time you saw a chicken lo mein commercial from China on? They send money to them for advertising, but we don't see the advertising, do we? No, we don't. So she ends up sending 3 people that aren't qualified, that weren't Secret Service, to go there to protect Trump. And you saw them. They were these 3 overweight women. One of them couldn't even put her, she's trying to put her gun back in her holster. The Democrats are a terrorist organization. Face it. Okay? You don't want to believe me? Ask Abraham Lincoln. Ask President McKinley. Ask Ronald Reagan. Ask Donald Trump. Ask Teddy Roosevelt. Hey, they'll kill you unless they can come up with another way of getting rid of you. Democrats don't get reelected over and over again to government. You ever notice that? Republicans do. Republicans will have 3 Republican candidates in a row win elections. Re-elections and a new candidate. Why is it okay to the American people to have 12 years of Republicans, but no way have 12 years of Democrats? Because the Democrats have proven to us time and time again, they're not for us. They're for them. They're for them. And everything they do is for them. How many times do you see blue states suing Donald Trump? You ever see a red state sue Donald Trump? Did you ever see anything that says 20 red states are suing Donald Trump over something? No. But you're always seeing where the blue states are suing Donald Trump for this, for that. There's 400 lawsuits filed against him. For what? Malicious prosecution. They'll get to it. They'll straighten them out. And one thing I did notice was that they have the Jewish Defense League on here. Are you trying to tell me that it's Jewish Defense League? Yeah. Is it a crime to defend Jews? You know, we have all these people attacking Jews. We saw it during the time of Obama the third, his third term at the colleges, attacking Jewish students. Why? Why do Jews need to have protection? Ever hear of Hamas? Hamas is basically the Democratic Party of Palestine. Okay. Those people need to be taken out and shot or airlifted over to Nigeria. Drop them out of planes. Don't give them parachutes. They don't need them. We have evil to fight. We have evil to fight. You either join the war or you just stay home and shut up. But we got to do something. You're going to allow the Democrats to shut the government down again? We're going to give them another opportunity to do that? Huh? We gave them the opportunity for the fake Watergate. Yeah, Watergate was faker than fake. Okay? They had to make sure that Richard Nixon did not win re-election. And when they realized he was going to win by a landslide. Okay? You're winning by a landslide. You're in the Soviet Union working with the Russians to make sure that there's no major war, nuclear war between the United States and the Soviet Union. So what did he do? Did he excuse himself and use some kind of satellite phone since mobile phones weren't available then? Or actually dial-in phone? Did he call up and go, hey, look, I'm here working deals out with the Soviets. Do me a favor. Send 4 assholes over to the Watergate complex and bug their phones because we need to know if they know they're going to lose the election by 19% or 18.8%. Yeah, we need to know the difference. It's very important. Yeah, let's look into it. How many times have you actually read that they went in May? You don't, because they didn't get caught. See, they were supposed to get caught. So they had to go in again in June. Except this time, the day that they were going in, this is amazing. The day they were going in to make copies, they said, okay, here, we already bugged the phones. Go and make 1,400 copies while you're there. 1,400 copies, 1972. How long do you think that would take? Okay? Well, they happen to get caught. Isn't that amazing? What's even more amazing is the writer from the Washington Post and a guy from the FBI were there coordinating it. It was a scam. It was a fix. Why? Because you can't allow a Republican president to be reelected by a landslide. Why do you think they came up with that law that says you can only run twice for president? And I bet, now I'm not a legal expert, but I am a legal pain in the ass. And I believe that Donald Trump will be able, with the right people, to run a third term. I don't want him running a third term. 2 terms is enough. We need to progress to. He's getting old enough to do that. I'd rather have him spend the rest of his life playing golf in the United States. Be fine. We got Marco Rubio. We got J.D. Vance. We've got DeSantis. We got somebody good that'll take over and run the country right. Okay. DeSantis has a lot of experience running a government, so he's going to be up there. Marco's got so much experience with other countries. He'd be a good vice president. Of course, you get Vance. Vance is the everyday man who joined the Marines, and he's a family man. He understands what family's all about. So you got three great people to be the next president of the United States after Trump. So I don't recommend him running, but if he decides to run, what he needs to do is show that in 1952 or 57, when they passed that law, that it was actually discriminatory against Republicans for one reason and one reason only. The Democrats couldn't continue to assassinate presidents, okay, like Lincoln, like McKinley, okay, Reagan. Now Reagan wasn't even going to be. Reagan was in his first, hadn't even been in his first term. They tried to kill him, but they knew who he was and they saw the results. They saw the poll results. See, Democrats see what's going to happen and they do whatever they can to prevent from losing. They have to be in power. They have to control the House and the Senate. If they control the House and the Senate, they can steal $1.5 trillion a year from the American people, as they have. Okay? All this crime shit's going on and nobody's doing nothing about it. I'm starting to wonder. Pam Bondi was Attorney General here in Florida. I feel that she's a good person. Maybe she can't handle all the attack mode because she's too much of a decent, kind person. You need somebody like a Matt Gaetz, a wild maniac. Put him in charge of certain parts of the investigations. Release Matt Gaetz. Release the Kraken. Let him go and put all these people away. Because I'm telling you right now, the only way to save this nation is to secede. We need to take the blue counties and say, okay, you can have your own country. Get all your people out. Get them out. Take them out of Washington, D.C. Go into your states. We're going to redo the boundaries, okay? And we're going to create 9 new states from your states because there's more territory. Believe me, there's more land and territory, 345 counties that are red than are 110 blue. I learned that in math. 345 is a larger number than 110.
Yeah, I qualify for Congress.
Terrorism, domestic terrorism. Fight it at every point, because if you don't fight it, look, there are people in this country who cannot defend themselves. They are the defenseless. They get picked on, they get attacked, they get beaten up in subways. We have to have people out to protect those who can't protect themselves. God would want us to do that. How do I know? I just know. Okay? There's a reason why He's saved my life 3 times now. 3 times. Yeah. Yeah. The first one was a miracle. That was a miracle. I would have never believed it, but I wasn't the only person in the car that saw what happened. So, that's it for today. I had to do this show this morning because I got to let out some steam. You can't let people aggravate you. You got to let out some steam. And since I gave these assholes up in Washington, actually they're in Virginia, till December 1st to send me a check for, I think I told them 50 grand or 100,000. I can't remember. Okay. All I know is I have documentation just for this year alone where their fines for what they've done in the state of Florida is over $200,000. And there is this one thing. It's called quitam. Quitam. It's a British, way back when, availability for the average person to fight in place of the government against crime. And quitam, I can put together a quitam lawsuit. I've already got the information. That's how I found it. And I can sue these people for the federal government, but they're actually not violating, well, they probably are violating a federal law, but there's a state law that comes up with the numbers, and I'm not going to go into federal. I don't want to take a chance on going into federal court. I went once in Rhode Island, and I had a great case against Yelp, and the judge knew that, and he was an Obama judge. Yeah, an Obama judge. That means he was not a judge. Okay? If Obama put you anywhere in this country, you don't exist, because Obama didn't exist. Kenyans can't put people into power in the United States, no matter how much they try. I'm sorry. But in the long run, if we get a group of people that decide the law is the law and they're going to defend it, these America First, liberty people, and this and that, get going on what you're doing. Okay, stop going after the little shit. They're all nonprofits. So what they do is they've got to have these little victories they can market and to gain donations. Okay, stop filling your own pockets with money and help the American people. We need it. I love you.